Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we have another portfolio update. So that is just another transparency update of me talking about my gains and losses for today within our portfolio. So as you can see, Tesla is up a ton today once again, and the portfolio is actually up a lot as well at around plus 2.23%. That's plus $2,521.77 for today. And in the after hours as well, we are also pretty far into the green at plus 0.42%. That's around $500 in gains, $487.77 to be exact. And so before we get farther in on this video, please make sure to drop a like on it if you do appreciate the transparency and me just talking about the progress within the portfolio. It really does help me out. But just addressing all of my positions as a whole right now, this, according to the yearly chart, is my all-time high record number for the portfolio. This is the highest value my portfolio has ever been at if you look at the yearly chart. Now keep in mind, I have actually seen this number go up higher than this before. I've seen it at 118 and very close to 119. I think we hit 119 at one point. That was on July 13th. But we lost every single bit of that progress in the same day, so it wasn't recorded as like the end of the day number. So according to this yearly chart, we are at an all-time high. At least in terms of the end of the day prices, the portfolio is at an all-time high. So I'm really excited about this, and that is currently plus 60.32% just for this year alone. And keep in mind, I haven't even been investing a full 12 months just yet. The all-time and the 1 year are the same because I started investing in early December of last year, like on December 2nd. So as you can see, we are up 60.32%. That's plus $43,773.95. I'm pretty sure that's much higher than what I've made with my other income sources altogether so far this year. So it is pretty crazy to say that within 7 months, I made $44,000 about it just passively. Now keep in mind, this is technically unrealized gain. It's only realized when I sell, meaning that I've only technically gained the money if I sell. So it's technically unrealized, but I just like to say I've made this much money so far because that's basically what it is. I mean, if I wanted to sell at this point, I could, and I could say I've made this money, but I'm holding it for the long term. I have a big long-term vision for especially these three main stocks, especially Tesla. That's really a huge long-term vision on that one. But so far, my concentration strategy with the portfolio, it seems to be working, especially when you have Tesla making huge moves and when Tesla is a pretty big part of my portfolio. So I'm really satisfied with the concentration strategy, and that's really why I like doing these videos publicly with the transparency updates every day, because it doesn't seem that there's many people that have this strategy right now that are stock picking a small number of stocks and engaging in this concentration strategy. So you all can actually see the progress on this strategy and if it's working so far. So that's why I like doing these videos. Maybe it'll change some perspectives on different types of investing. Keep in mind, this is just the way that I've chosen to invest. None of what I say is to be considered financial advice, but I am very happy with this strategy so far. And for those of you that are new, I'm just talking about these three main stocks. The rest of them are just free stocks, but I've only purchased Tesla, Microsoft, and Apple with my own money. The rest are just free stocks. So I like to keep my portfolio minimized and only a small number of stocks. And for one thing, it's actually really easy to keep up with all of the news going on with these three stocks because, for example, when you have like 15 to 20 stocks, or maybe even just like 5 to 10, that's a lot more news to keep up with. And if something fundamentally changes about one of your positions and the company that you invest in, you could actually miss out on that news, even if you are involved in the finance community and keep up with the stock market. So when you only have a small number of stocks like myself, it's a lot easier to keep up with the news going on with it. And it also gives you a chance to put more time into researching some of these stocks further. So for example, I like to do Tesla news videos on the channel, and I'm able to look at a lot more news pieces and have time to do that in comparison to having to check out, 5 to 10 or 15 to 20 different other stocks as well that will take up my research time on Tesla. So because of this, I've been able to look at the sales numbers for Tesla and just so many other different news pieces noting the expansion that is happening within their business right now that I think is very helpful with my decisions in the future, in which as soon as I get some more money, I'm probably going to be putting it into Tesla or Apple. I'd love to expand this Apple position position a little bit more as well. It takes up about 16 to 17% of my portfolio right now, but I'd eventually love to see Apple taking up a similar amount to Microsoft. But I don't have a problem with Tesla taking up a majority amount of my portfolio because I feel like this is one of those few once-in-a-lifetime stocks, similar to like Amazon as well, that has a lot of growth potential, and I'm excited to see what happens with this in the future. So I'm really bullish on Tesla for the long term. You all know that. Most of you know that are familiar with the channel. But so far, I'm really happy with this strategy. And obviously, you could say I'm speaking too soon, and we'll only see what happens in the long term. But at least so far, up until today, I'm really happy. And I've also tried to practice what I preach, so I talk about buying and holding long term. And even when we had this situation way back from like February to March with this big crash, February 19th to March 23rd, I was still buying on the way down. I was still informing you all about when I was buying Microsoft stock. I was mainly purchasing Microsoft back then, and then I also bought Tesla on the way up as well, a pretty decent amount of shares. So I like to practice what I preach, whether it's buying Tesla stock or whether it's buying the dip. That's something that I like to do as well. And keep in mind, when we had this crash just going down and down and down, I had tons of comments of people saying, sell right now. This is going to be the worst thing ever. This is going to be worse than 2008. You're going to lose so much money. But I kept my vision and I went along with what I believed in. And I've been able to make a pretty solid amount of money because of that. So I really do believe in buying the dip, investing for the long term, and also dollar cost averaging. Those are some major things that I believe in. And so far, I really believe in concentration as well. But it's also a little bit riskier, you could say, because with those small number of stocks that you do have in your portfolio, you have to make sure that you're choosing the ones that will grow. Because if you choose two that are just poorly performing and one that's really good, those two are going to hold down the rest of your portfolio growth. So that's why it's so difficult for people to beat the market. But just addressing the movements for today, as you can see, it started out at 9 a.m. with a little bit of volatility up until this 9:30 marker, and then we had a dip and a bounce back up until this point at 9:40. That was at around 2.05%. That's plus $2,323.74. Then from that point on, it had a pretty decent drop back down to the lowest point of the day, which was at 9:55 a.m., which was still not in the negative, so I'm happy with it. It was at plus 0.73%, and then at that point on, it had a pretty significant bounce back upwards. It rested within this range right here for a few minutes and bounced really high up to this 10:40 a.m. marker at plus 3.24%. That's plus $3,669. Then a ton of volatility within this time range, and it went up to this point at 12 p.m., dipped back down just a little bit and went back up to this point at 12:35 p.m. That's one of the highest points of today at plus 3.50%. And that's almost at $4,000, $3,962. And then there was a little bit more volatility with a slight downturn from that point on. At 125, we hit this little dip, and then it bounced back up just a little bit and then dropped back down once again to this point at 225. Once again, we had more volatility up until this point at about 325, and then we hit 355, where it was 5 minutes before the after hours at 2.35% in gains. And then for the rest of the day after that, pretty much just a plateau, you know, the typical movements that you see in the after hours. And we surprisingly saw a big movement upwards after this 5:10 p.m. marker, kind of a surge on Tesla stock a little bit. So it bounced up pretty significantly from this point of 5:10 p.m. to 5:20 p.m., and then it plateaued a little bit here as well. So we did see kind of a bigger movement at the end for Tesla. This is something that's more consistent with Tesla and then maybe slightly Apple as well. But a lot of this movement from the portfolio did come from Tesla at the end of the day in the after hours. So for the after hours so far, we are seeing some slight signals for potentially another good day for Tesla tomorrow. Now keep in mind, the more green days that you have in a row that are big movements, like with yesterday plus 13% and then today plus 5.49%, it becomes a little bit more difficult to expect another huge day, especially on that third day. The second day is pretty consistent with Tesla, but only in some rare occurrences do you have, of course, the 2 days in a row of crazy growth and then that third day of growth as well. So we've seen the 2 days happen consistently, but the third day is a little bit more rare. We saw more than 2 days of growth in a row for this June 26th date and upwards. So that was a day where we had like 4 or 5 days of growth. That was really a big surprise on that one. So it's a little bit harder to predict whether tomorrow could be a significant green day for Tesla. I wouldn't be surprised, but like I said, there's more consistency in those 2 days in a row than there are like the 3 days in a row with Tesla. But like I said, I would not be surprised whatsoever for another another green day for tomorrow for Tesla. But then again, I also wouldn't be surprised with a pullback for Tesla tomorrow, because as we know, when Tesla does go on runs like this, there is always that pullback at the end where it starts to drag back a little bit. Like we saw on this July 6th date, it pulled back and kind of plateaued out, and then it went up again. Then we had a pullback on that peak, bounced up to this point at July 20th, and then a pullback once again, and then it started surging as of late. So there is some consistency in these pullbacks after you have a streak of multiple green days in a row that are actually significant movements. So just addressing the numbers for today for Tesla, as you can see, another crazy return for today at plus 5.49%. That's plus $2,936.86. And then for the total return for Tesla, we are at plus 93.41%, or plus $27,273.93. So we went from like plus 73% to plus 93% in a really short amount of time. We've seen a huge surge just over the past few days, and we're finally seeing some more action with Tesla, which I love to see considering how much volatility we had over these past few weeks. So that's nice to see us finally surging again with Tesla. Then with Microsoft, it took a little bit of a hit today at minus 0.31%. That's minus $124.80 for today. And then for the total return, we are at plus 21.68%. That is plus $7,246.53. And then finally, we have Apple stock at plus 1.57%. That's plus $298.62. And then for the total return, we are at plus 60.57%, or plus $7,274.22. So Apple is definitely one of those underrated movers as well, it feels like. It's kind of like one of those that snuck up on me in the portfolio where I didn't expect Apple to have this much of a movement in terms of the total return, but it's actually kind of near Tesla at this plus 60%. Who would have expected that Apple would have already surged 60% just in a matter of these few months? So Apple has definitely been one of those crazy movers in my portfolio. So this is another one of those that I'm really satisfied with. And then we also have a dividend coming up on tomorrow, I believe, for $34.44. So I think I'm going to be putting that in Tesla stock just because I want to put some money in Tesla right now, get closer to that 35 shares, I believe. So anyways, I just wanted to share another transparency update with you all. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to smash that like button. And also, feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with my referral link, then you'll get some free stocks. And especially with Webull right now, you can get 2 free stocks by signing up with my link and also adding $100 to your account. And you can withdraw that afterwards, but you'll get an additional free stock for that. So 2 free stocks of passive income, always pretty nice. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.